He was so cool. Everybody loved my daddy.
And Sherry Floyd says her daddy loved everybody back.
Gosh, he must have taught the whole town how to water ski.
Laughter that turns to tears.
No, time does not help.
As she talks about her broken heart and what she believes is a broken promise.
I mean, how do you get over the person you love the most in your life? It's just not possible.
And then for the government to slam door after door in your face.
Well, I've been denied 3 times.
Denied under the Energy Employees Occupational Illness Compensation Program Act. Congress passed the law to help energy workers like Clyde Floyd, who were exposed to harmful radiation or contamination on the job. He spent 3 decades at Savannah River site.
The cancer was now in his lungs, and he had multiple brain tumors, and they said there wasn't anything they could do for him.
Maybe doctors couldn't, but the government could have. SRS is what's known as a special cohort under the EEOICPA. It puts those with an approved illness on the fast track for approval if they worked at SRS between 1953 and 1972. Mr. Floyd was there for all but 2 of those years.
Daddy was still alive. I said, Daddy, you've got to apply for this.
If approved, he could have received up to $400,000 plus medical benefits, but he never got the chance. Clyde Floyd passed away in May of 2001.
And you're certain SRS is to blame?
The government said that his work caused his death.
It's something the government is saying more often and to more people than expected.
I do believe there has been a surprise that maybe more people were exposed than what we originally thought, as well as that more people have illnesses arising from those exposures.
That's Malcolm Nelson. He's the ombudsman for the EEOICPA. And from what we've found, that surprise is a bit of an understatement. Buried in a Senate hearing more than a decade old, we uncovered a cost estimate for the program before it became law in 2000. The then Secretary of Energy suggested it would cost $120 million a year for the first 3 years, but then rapidly decline after that. Nope, not even close. As of this month, it's more than $13 billion, and that's just in claims and medical bills. It doesn't even count what it costs to run the program. According to the 2016 budget, that's at least $133 million this year alone. So it makes you wonder, is this a reason 70% of SRS claims are denied? We asked Mr. Nelson.
The money comes out of the Treasury, and I've been assured that there's no consideration on money in determining claims.
But Sherry says there seems to be little consideration of the applicants.
My denial letter went to an old address, and I didn't get the letter until after I missed the 30-day deadline to appeal.
A government investigation from earlier this year found similar examples, like this one that caused a claim to be delayed because of an incorrect address for a district office, and the district office not responding to 2 requests to reopen denied claims.
And it was to honor the workers, but what they're doing is dragging them through the mud of a pile of paperwork and 30-day deadlines.
Some, like Sherry's dad, became too sick.
There are people dying of cancer. They can't be expected to file something like this.
So they can hire anyone. They're limited to 2%.
That includes lawyers and people like Sherry who file on behalf of those seeking compensation.
All I know is what I keep reading in these claims, and I see a pattern.
Like the special cohort dates, for example. I've seen it on claims, too, where the worker would have been approved, no question, if they were there in the 70s instead of the 80s.
All because it turned 1973 didn't mean all the contamination went poof. It's all gone. No, they're still removing all the stuff.
Why do you think they won't include those dates? Is it because it would just mean more approvals and suddenly...
Yeah. They'd have to pay more people.
They'd also have to pay people more if they sped up the process. An approved claim pays more for the person with the illness. Survivors don't get the full amount. We asked Mr. Nelson if that's a way to save money.
They do realize that if the worker passes away before that money is paid, it could affect the amount of compensation that is paid.
Sherry ended up with nothing. She was denied. Some other family members were approved, but she says it's not about the money. It's about a flawed program.
Getting $150,000 is not worth my daddy's life.
Right now, there's a petition making its way through the system, extending the years of the special cohort.
I asked the head of the program about this, and he said yes, it's on his radar. It's now on mine, too. A former truck driver at SRS also has his eye on it.
This part of my nose right here is plastic surgery. There's no meat in there at all.
His claim was denied, but you'll never believe where we found one just like it that was approved.